Hello there. Welcome to this rather strange video here, breaking new ground here at Dunham. I'm delighted that I'm now going to have a little chat with our captain, Joe Glass. Most of you will obviously know Joe. We're going to be chatting about Joe's time at the golf club, how he's coping with the current situation, what he's hoping to do when we get back, and a few little fun questions as well. So how are you, Joe?
Yeah, I'm fine, thank you, Paul. Obviously, really looking forward to getting back to the club. And last time we spoke, there was sort of no feel about it, but now it looks like hopefully we might have a date to look forward to over the next few days. So yeah, getting really excited about it again.
Yes, I should say this is now, we're recording this on Sunday afternoon. So although you won't be seeing this video until Thursday, the decision is going to be made when we restart in a few hours. So hopefully, when you're seeing this video, we might even be back playing. Who knows?
Yeah, we're hoping that Boris might be kind to us this afternoon.
We certainly are. So, Joe, maybe a little bit of introduction to you about yourself then.
Yeah. Well, without sort of boring too many people, married to Pam, who I suppose a lot of people have seen around the club. 3 children, all who live in London, and now 6 grandchildren, with another one on the way in a couple of a month or so's time. You lose track of the time at the moment. Yet about four weeks or so. So born and bred in Manchester. Lived all my life in this area, although originally born in North Manchester. Schooled Manchester Grammar School, law degree in Coventry University, and studied law, and have been a solicitor all my practicing life, and still am now. That's sort of my home background. Now live in Lymm. We lived in Sale for a lot of our married life, but we moved out to Lymm, and that's where Pam and I now live.
Excellent. How are you and Pam coping in the situation? I guess you're working home.
I work. My office is at home, and Pam, who a lot of people know, runs her own business out of the Spire Hospital and also the BMI Hospital in Cheadle, and she has an office which she goes to every day. So since the lockdown, we've been working together for the first time ever. And it's had its problems.
I can imagine.
It's had its problems.
Okay.
I think we're both looking for lockdown to finish on that basis. But no, we've got on very well. And yeah, everything's been fine.
And I guess you've both been missing your golf.
Absolutely. Pam's very keen. When I took up golf again, quite a few years ago now, Pam encouraged me and she said, you must try and take it up again. And I actually said to her at the time, I said, look, you've forgotten. It's a very, very selfish game. I'm going to be out of the house for a long time. I'll try it. I'll take it up again if you give it a go. And it took her about 4 or 5 years. And at the time, there were a few of her girlfriends who'd just taken it up. And she started playing with them. And then she really got into it. And it was the best thing ever. To be honest, Paul, because now not only can we play together, but when we go on holiday, we can play together as well. So it's been very important for both of us that Pam plays as well.
So you mentioned taking golf up again then. So give us a little bit brief history of how you started golf then and how you came to this great game.
It's really been in the blood. My late father, who I suppose quite a lot of members might still remember, my father was Freddie Glass. And he was a good golfer. He played off 8 handicap, and he was regularly on the Glancy team for Whitefield Golf Club. And Dad played at Whitefield, and I always remember him having small cut-off golf clubs that my brother and myself would swing in the garden when he came home from the golf course on a Sunday. And I was on the golf course playing with him regularly from 14 and 15. And had quite a unique experience really, because he'd been ill for a little while and he took it up again when I was starting to play, and we became golf partners. And we played regularly together through my late teens and early 20s till I went away to university. and we're still, I think, the only father and son that won the major 4-ball knockout competition at Whitefield, and it was quite unique playing good competitive golf, having your father as a partner. It was really great. And then sorry, Paul.
Was he a strict golfing partner?
He was tough. If I missed a putt, he used to let me know about it. And if I gave a putt and he wasn't happy about it, he would let me know about it as well.
Brilliant. Excellent. I actually think that's one of the genuine great things about the game, playing with different generations.
Yeah, absolutely. That's the real plus about handicap golf, that you can literally, you can just turn up on the tee with anybody and have a competitive game. Not only your standard, but also your age as well, which is marvellous.
Absolutely. We've had, and hopefully you might get to experience this soon, three different generations, Paul, playing golf together.
Yeah, well, absolutely. Well, my son Rob, as you know, plays golf, although not as much as he'd like. And I bought both my grandsons golf clubs last year, so they're swinging as well. So I've got a few years yet, but hopefully we might have 3 generations on the course. Yeah.
Excellent. So you played as a junior, then did you stop at all, or did you carry on?
Yeah, I stopped when sort of work, lifestyle, kids growing up, everything seemed to combine, and I gave up in my late 20s, early 30s, and it just became one of those things that I didn't do anymore, even though I still loved the game. I had a bit of a bad back problem as well, which I'm never quite sure whether that was an excuse from with hindsight, but I did have a bad back. But then towards my late 40s, I was told that the back problem was going to heal, and I was able to start golf again just coming up to age 50. So I gave it up for about 20 years.
Okay, so that makes you've been about 20 years at Dunham then.
Yeah, you were telling me, Paul, that you joined 20 years ago. So
yeah, I joined in January 2001. So this is my 20th year now.
Right.
So like within a few months, we actually
absolutely
came at the same time.
Yeah, we must have done. And of course, the golf club was a very different place in those days.
Absolutely, yeah. Complete. Yeah, I mean, a lot of the changes I think have been for the better, but some things were really quite nice back there. All the mixed golf we used to have.
Well, I think that was the main thing. I mean, playing with my wife now, it's almost unusual to turn up at the golf club with your wife. But when I started 20 years ago, the Wednesday night mixed greensomes, you literally had to put your name down a week before. And if you weren't quick off the mark, you weren't able to play. The course would be full with husbands and wives, and husbands and other women, and various different people. But
that's another story.
But it was very full.
No, you're right. It was. I guess now we've got the Thursday night roll up.
Yeah, I think
which is a substitute for the.
Yeah, I think that's taken over from it, and it's great. You know, what Nick and Vic have done in developing that over the last few years. But it shows that there's definitely a sort of a need and a desire to have something competitive midweek. And it used to be the mixed greensomes, which were quite competitive. I mean, people used to get quite het up if you came in and you thought you'd won and you hadn't. And obviously, the Thursday night roll-up has now taken over from that, which is great. I
think one of the factors with the greensomes was it was every Wednesday, wasn't it? So people used to it was part of their week, wasn't it? They used to play golf and have supper, or even if they didn't play golf, they'd still come for supper at the golf club. So it was literally. It was
a focus. It was a focus. You know, you'd play golf at the weekend, and then you'd know that on a Wednesday night you had another focus where, provided you put your name down, you could play a competitive game of golf.
So lowest handicap.
Lowest handicap, I actually got down to 9, believe it or not.
What did you say? Your dad was 8.
Dad was 8, yeah. And he was a proper 8. I mean, he played off 8 for a number of years and could really play like that. I sort of dipped to 9, probably for about 12 months at one point, and for that, it didn't last very long.
Single figures.
Absolutely, yeah. Just
better,
about
better to have loved and lost than never loved before.
Absolutely, absolutely. I can always turn around and tell them that I was.
Absolutely. So 20 years at Dunham. So how it must have impacted your life a little bit. Must become a part of your life.
Well, yes, absolutely. It took a little while to get into it. I like to think that the club is a lot friendlier now to new golfers than I think it was then.
I agree.
But I soon got into the swing of things. I knew a lot of the older members. A late uncle of mine, Arnold Kindler, was a past captain, and his generation were people that I knew. I look at the old sort of the captain's board, and quite a lot of the people were contemporaries of both my Arnold Kindler, who was my uncle, and my late father. They were people that I'd grown up with as a youngster, so I knew a lot of the people. But yes, it quickly became part of my life. I've got a lot of personal friends and family who play golf at the club, so it's been an easy club to become involved in.
So had you been, so whilst you were, because obviously Whitefield and Dunham have always remained close, they're sister clubs. So did you have any memories of Dunham when you were a member of Whitefield? Did you ever come across or?
Well, yeah, absolutely. Working it out, and somebody will no doubt tell me I'm wrong with the date, but I recall coming to a bonfire party that was held in the grounds of Dunham before the club was about to open, and it was done as a fundraising evening, and people were invited along, and it was for membership and people to get involved in the club, and I think that was about 1959. And since then, as I was playing as a youngster at Whitefield, I had friends. Clement Goldstone was a personal friend of mine, and I would come and play golf at Dunham with Clement. Stephen Forster, who then became Clement's brother-in-law. Stephen and I would play at Whitefield and come up to Dunham. My cousin Maurice Kindler, Arnold's son, was a member here. I had a number of contemporaries. David Morris, Anthony Morris, their brother Jonathan, who was a personal friend of mine. So I was very close to a lot of people. I also remember, now we're talking about it, I remember sitting in what is now the members' room, which of course used to be the members' lounge, and is now the card room, of course, and watching Liverpool win the Europa Cup, or what was European Cup Winners' Cup in 1965, I think it was. And in that room, I remember being invited up that evening.
Wasn't that a snooker room?
It was a snooker room, yeah. It had a television in it. Had a television in it as well, and we watched Liverpool. Why we watched Liverpool, I don't know, because we were all big Reds.
So that's interesting, because when I came for my interview with Riggers, so I say I started on the January, but I came for my interview, I think, in October or November the previous year. And the clubhouse was just going through a refurbishment. Well, I assume because we were hosting the Glancy in 2001. So I assume, looking back, it was an opportunity to reinvest in the clubhouse, spruce it up to make it all right for the Glancy next year. Yeah. And the snooker room was actually still there, just about to be demolished or taken out. So I did literally have probably the last peek of it before I again came back in January. It all finished, refurbed up, finished. And
I think when Dunham was first started, sort of in the early 60s, to have a golf club without a men's snooker room was almost unheard of. It was,
so over the years, a few of the guys I've got friendly with have told me some brilliant stories about, back in the day at the club, and apparently it was the place to be in Altrincham. It was, even for non-golfers, a lot of our major competitions that we played for, the guys didn't even play golf. They were just members of the country club, and bidding to have a trophy named after them. And
yeah, correct. And of course, if the weather was bad, if you couldn't play golf, you went into the snooker room. It was just. Yeah. It was
I'd
pale
always,
to see.
my kind of vision of it is a big smoke-filled room
Absolutely.
where smokies.
And plenty of whiskey.
Oh
Smoke.
yeah. So I was told that there was 2 direct phone lines straight to bookies from there.
Yeah, absolutely.
Direct phones straight to bookmakers, so they could put
Absolutely.
the bets on.
Yeah.
So,
I can imagine. Yeah.
different time. But
it was more of a gentleman's club in those days. It's now much more of a mixed golf club. But times have changed. You know, we're going back half a century, Paul. You know,
indeed, yes, yeah. And so you before you talked about that, you mentioned your family. So I know Rob. He had a few lessons, I think, when he was a junior at Dunham. And so I don't know if you don't mind telling us a brilliant story about when he got married. If you're the one where the best man made a video.
Oh well, it was quite unique really, because my brother's son Tim, Rob were very close, and Tim was Rob's best man. But Tim is a producer for Sky Sports, and in those days he was on the football side of it. He now does Formula One, and he goes all around the world doing all the Formula One events. But in those days he was in football, and he was able to get all the Sky Sports presenters, the football presenters, including some of the footballers. In those days there was Thompson from Liverpool and 1 or 2 of the others who were still doing it. And they just put together a mock Sky Sports all about Rob, which was brilliant, and it was shown at the wedding. So it was unique, absolutely.
It was, but yeah, I remember the time you or Pam showed it me. It was brilliant. Yeah, it was really good. Commentating on Rob playing, I think, weren't they, saying, "Oh, he's got a chance."
Yeah, correct.
Player and brilliant.
Absolutely.
Brilliant.
Well, I mean, Rob still is actually quite a reasonable footballer. He captained the Maccabi team, and so obviously there were clips of him playing football at the time. But yeah, gosh, that's a long time ago now. Long time ago.
So I suppose that moves on nicely. Very loaded question. Obviously, I know the answer to this, but red or blue?
Always red, Paul. Although I must tell you, I started going. My father, who I've been speaking about, he had a retail shop which was open on a Saturday, so he couldn't take me to the football. But my late grandfather started taking me to football from age of 5. And in those days, people used to go to United Old Trafford one week and City Main Road the next week. And that's what I used to do. I used to go with my grandfather to both City and United, but he was always a big United fan. And I was very lucky. I had an uncle who, quite interestingly, just got very, very upset with the game after Munich, and enjoyed going to Old Trafford. And he was about to give up his season ticket. And my late father said to him, he said, you can't give up your season ticket. He said, you must give it to Joe, who goes with his grandfather. And from the age of 11, so 1961, 3 years after Munich, my uncle gave me his season ticket. And I've been a season ticket holder at Old Trafford since 1961. So on my platinum season ticket card, it has members since 1961.
Excellent. Very good.
Yeah.
You've seen trophies over the years then.
Absolutely. I've been so fortunate. I've seen there aren't many great United players that I've not seen. You know, going back to Best really was the first one, and all of them. And of course, interestingly, well, for me it was anyway. But when we went to Barcelona in '99, I was one of the few people that had seen 68 against Benfica and 99 against Barcelona.
Absolutely,
you know?
Yeah. Excellent. Very good. I suppose we can indulge ourselves now a little bit. What do we think of Ollie? Is he think we're starting to turn things around ever so slowly?
I think with me, the jury's still out about Ollie. I'm not convinced that he's quite got the I don't know, gravitas that you need to be a United manager. I think he's doing the right things. Quite clearly, he's taken the view that we've just got to grow youngsters again. Every time I read the papers now, he's looking at another youngster, and he's developing the youth. He's obviously going to bring in 1 or 2 picks, but I think he sees it as a 3, 4, 5-year project, as opposed to the others, Van Gaal and Mourinho, who had to do it straight away.
Be interesting now. I certainly feel that what's happened now is almost going to change the plan for football now, and whether or not that means teams will have to go back to just trying to buy less players and reinvest in their youth players, or whether or not it means the very rich clubs will be able to flex their muscles a little bit more over the other clubs or not. It just feels there might just be a little bit of changing of the guard a little bit in football now, but
as it has been for the last few years, though, Paul, I should imagine it depends on how much money the TV companies are going to still be putting in. You know, the paymasters call the tune, really. But interesting times. You know, very, very near to what we're talking about. I mean, are they going to finish the season? You know, I think it's going to be very difficult to get every player back on the pitch.
Yeah.
I can understand a lot of teams not wanting to play behind closed doors and on neutral ground. So there's, you know, quite a bit to go. But as you say, we're still.
It would just make a bit of a nonsense of the whole country social distancing, and then all of a sudden you got 20 guys in a penalty box jumping all over each other and each other, and where everyone else has got to stay 2 meters apart. For me, it would just send out the wrong message of how, because then if people are, well, if they're doing it, why can't I do it? And
absolutely, and if United are playing Liverpool, and United need to beat Liverpool to get into Europe, are you going to stop people turning up outside Old Trafford?
I think that's why they're trying to get the neutral grounds, aren't they, to try and dissuade people. But as you say, people are driving to the side of the country, won't they, just to be there and to shout.
Well, I'm glad I don't have to organise it. That's all I'm saying.
Right, so let's see if I can get you into trouble with some quick fire fun questions then.
Okay, do that.
So your dream Dunham 4-ball. This can be past members or present members or both.
All right. Well, I think it's safer to go past. I'm going to go past. So it's interesting because it was on your last newsletter, but I do remember him. I remember Harry Donegal. I remember him personally as an individual and as a captain of Dunham, even though it was long before I was a member. I would like to play with him. I was told he was a fantastic player.
2 handicap, yeah.
I would like to play with him. I would very much like to play with my late uncle, Arnold, who was a captain of Dunham. I played very rarely with Arnold because he'd almost given up by the time I took the game up again. So I think that would be good. And also because he's not too well now, as you probably know, but another ex-captain, I'd like to play with Charles Rosen. So my 3-ball with me is Harry Donegal, Arnold Kindler and Charles Rosen.
And who would you choose as your partner?
Well, I think it's high-low. I'd probably be playing with Charles, but I wouldn't mind playing with Harry.
Okay. Brilliant. And so we take a wider view of that then. So your dream 4-ball, everybody?
In professional players?
Anybody on the planet.
Oh, right. Well, I was thinking about professional players, and I think sort of also going back, if I could pick anybody, I think the 3 I'd like to really play a round of golf with was Ben Hogan, Jack Nicklaus, and Tiger Woods. I think
that'll take some beating.
I think that would be some 4-ball. I mean, whether they would turn up with me is a different matter. but I wouldn't mind pegging it up with them. That would be fantastic. And then Europeans, again, there's so many to go out, but there's sort of my European heroes, not going back too far. I'm not going back to Tony Jacklin, although he would be a good pick. And I remember Tony Jacklin. I'm sure it must have been my late uncle must have brought me to Dunham, but Tony Jacklin played at Dunham in the days when we used to have big pro-ams here.
Yes.
And I remember hearing one or two stories about Tony Jacklin, but that would take me a long time to tell those. But my European three playing with me would be Nick Faldo, Colin Montgomery, and Rory McIlroy.
Very good. Yeah.
I think that would be a good game.
Excellent, yeah. Brilliant. Okay, so speaking of bucket list then, your favourite courses that you'd like to play? Top three favourite courses you'd like to play that you haven't played?
I have walked it, but we didn't play there because I just couldn't believe how much they were going to charge me to play it. But I'd like to play Pebble Beach. Pam and I had a fantastic holiday 4 years ago now, where we flew drive down the west coast with our golf clubs, and we played golf all the way down, and it was fantastic. We didn't play Pebble Beach because they wanted an inordinate amount of money just to play there, but we played two other courses on the 14-mile drive area, and that was fantastic. I've not played a lot of top foreign golf courses. I played a lot of golf abroad in Portugal and in Spain and in America, but none of the really top ones. So the top three courses I've actually played, I played St Andrews, which a number of years ago now, but played St Andrews, which was a fantastic experience. Played Troon, which again was a fantastic experience. My memory of Troon was that playing the first 8 holes out, and then the second 9 come back. It's almost like you go out and then you come back, and playing the most magnificent golf going out with the wind behind, and then running out of balls coming home. We couldn't get the ball on the fairway. We were playing off the back tees, and the wind was right in our faces. And then Glen Eagles. Played Glen Eagles as well. So played some nice courses up in Scotland. Yeah.
Brilliant. Okay, so what else we got here then? So we've done United or City. So the last book that you read.
Right. Well, I decided with the lockdown and having a little bit more time to read that I was going to read the new Hilary Mantel book about Cromwell, about Thomas Cromwell. Okay. So I thought I'd read the first 2 again first. So I've just finished Wolf Hall by Hilary Mantel, and I'm just starting Bring Up the Bodies, and then I'm going to read the new one when I finish. So that'll see me through for quite a while yet.
Excellent. And your last film you've seen?
Yeah, well, actually, it's perfect timing because when this goes out, of course, at the moment we've just finished BE Day, and I watched Darkest Hour last night.
And we watched that. Yeah, brilliant, wasn't it?
And it really brings it home. Gosh, that really was a dark time. We were close to some very bad times there, weren't we? It was and a great film, just a great film.
Brilliant film.
Yeah,
excellent. And are you currently watching a TV series?
Gosh, at the moment, I see they seem to be merging together. I finished one. I can't even remember what I watched. But we watched, amongst other things, we watched Devs, which I enjoyed, which has been sort of like a science fiction series on BBC, I think 1 or 2, which we enjoyed. It was just a bit different from the usual drama, the police drama ones. I mean, we watched all those. And then my secret treat at the moment is, and I watched this on my own late at night, is Fauda, which is a Netflix one, and it's based in it's really the Palestinian conflict. But it really is very good. I'm sure there'll be loads of people listening to this who's watched it, but I haven't. And my kids said I must watch Fowler, and it's one of these where there's 12, 40 minutes in each series. And I binged series 1 and 2 over the last 2 weeks. So I'm just about to start series 3, which is live.
If there's a time to do it, now's the time.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Brilliant. So what else have we got? Red or white wine?
Oh, you can't beat an Argentinian Malbec.
There we go. Good answer. Meat or fish?
Oh, again, I'm back in Argentina again, but an Argentinian steak is top of my list.
Sounds like you might have a priority for a holiday there.
Absolutely. I can't wait.
Red or brown sauce?
Oh, definitely brown. Definitely brown.
Correct answer, by the way, that. My wife's not having it, but definitely is the correct answer.
Definitely brown.
Milk or dark chocolate?
Sorry, I missed that one, Paul.
Milk or dark chocolate?
Oh, dark as you can get it. Definitely dark.
70% correct answer, Mr. Captain.
70% cocoa, no less.
Brilliant. Excellent. So here's an interesting one then. Last question. If you could change one rule or procedure in golf?
Well, I've been very upset that as captain, I've not had a special dispensation with my putting. And I think captains of Dunham should be given automatically every putt within 3 feet of the hole.
Well, we can certainly put it to the board. Fancy your chances of getting it through. But
I think there might be a few people playing with me who might not be too happy about that, but it would certainly improve my scores, I can tell you.
You don't miss 3-foot putts, do you, Mr. Captain?
No, they're always given to me.
Oh, there you go. Excellent. Oh, well, listen, it's been brilliant chatting to you. It's a shame we're having to do this over a computer in these times, and we're not a golf club.
Yeah, it's been really good, Paul. Thanks for giving me the opportunity. Hopefully I'm going to be seeing everybody again soon, but if this goes out beforehand, I look forward to seeing as many people as possible at the golf club between now and, well, when I say now, when we get back onto the course and before the summer disappears. Hopefully we'll have the rest of the summer. I don't think it'll be golf as we've known it, but at least an opportunity to get back and meet up again with each other and enjoy some good times again.
You're super. Great chatting. Say hi to Pam for me.
I will do.
Mr. Captain.
Thank you. And she sends her love to everyone as well. Bye, Paul.
Thank you. Bye now. Bye.